Well, welcome everybody, and thanks for joining us in today's Shelter and Studio event. We're very happy to have you here. My name is Chad Johnson. I'm the studio director at the San Francisco Center for the Book. We've been doing this now not quite a year, but it's getting up there. So thank you so much for joining us. Today we're going to be visiting with Bryan Kring in Oakland, and Bryan Kring works in many forms of paper art. Painting, drawing, printmaking, and automata. His West Oakland studio is home to dreams and experiments from the simple to the multi-layered and multi-dimensional, ranging in tone from the darkly humorous to the whimsically poetic. These often take form as compressed narratives with moving parts. I can say, for my part, Bryan and I worked together several years ago when he created a book for our Small Plates series. So I'm now very happy to turn things over to him. So one moment and I will switch the camera. There you go, Bryan. Take it away.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you very much, and thank you all for coming. Welcome to my studio. This is where I work. I have two jobs I do here. I have a part-time graphic design job that I call part-time, and I try to do that and get everything done by midday. If I'm lucky, I'm done by lunch, and then the rest of the day I spend doing, I call it book arts, but it's all kinds of different paper art things that I'll show you today. So it's kind of a split roles I do here. And for me, the combination of the two has worked out really well. The two jobs kind of feed off each other and support each other in different ways. And for me, it's worked out well. I work here in the book arts. I work with an assistant, Mitsuko Baum. She's a super talented craftsperson, an artist, and we work together on the pieces from the beginning to the completion of them. And so a lot of things are really a collaboration with her on everything I do here. So I got a lot to show you. So let's start the tour, and I'll show you everything I have here. So
all right,
let me get the camera.
Get that camera going.
Is it up? Okay.
There you go.
So, okay, thank you, Chad. I'll do a slow pan here. I tried to do a slow pan here so you can kind of get the sense of the space. It's about 500 square foot space in this industrial building in West Oakland. And I've been here about 15 years now. And I love it here. It's, in some ways, sometimes this place feels like it's an extension of my brain, like it's like an extension of my mind, and the stories that I dream up in my daydreaming, and all the equipment here kind of brings them out. And so it sounds kind of silly, but I don't know any other way to describe it. So although it's much, right now it's much neater than my brain. It's usually much more cluttered than this, but for you guys, I cleaned it up. And as an example here, you can see my scrap paper file is even, or scrap paper pile is even nicely organized. So I've got the flat files here, which is the minimum. I got one set of flat files. I think that's the minimum. And they're full of paper, but I get by with that. And just to share a little tip here, I use these Uline catalogs as they work out as nice glue sheets. So I do a lot of cutting and gluing of pieces. So these make nice tear out glue sheets. You just glue up the piece and tear it out, and you have a fresh sheet for your new glue, and keeps everything nice and neat and clean. So hopefully I have some better tips later in the tour, but that one's pretty good actually. So this is where I work mostly when I when I'm coming up with something. I sit at this chair and I work at this table, and I kind of create mock-ups working with bits of paper and try and make the pieces. And I have a few set up here to show you. But I wanted to say that where you're working, it kind of affects what you make. And so with this one, I have this huge window here, which brings in great light. And as I sit here, I started noticing that I keep making things with backlighting, and they look great here. And sometimes you take them out of this like beautiful lit space, and you can't see anything. But this piece, works in every light. And this is kind of a recent piece. It's called Down Home, and it's a view from inside of a hole. And these little characters are living down in the hole. This rabbit and a frog and a little worm. And I'll try and set the camera in here so I can turn this little wheel. So this one, when you turn the wheel, it's got a little wheel, and it's like a volvel, I guess is the name of it. And it's a thin piece of, it's made of layers of board. And so I'll turn the wheel, and you see the moon back there and some bugs flying by.
Mm-hmm.
Try that. It's a little bit hard to see in the video, but there's some little sparkly things flying by, and then the owl flies over with the sense of doom. So this is a little piece. I guess it's about the security of home and this diverse little family of different characters living down there happily. And to me, this lighting, it has a cinematic feel. It's just the way it's making images with light even. And so these characters are drawn on a thin piece of vellum, and there's a piece of thin paper covering them that gives them kind of this soft, glowing look. And that piece originally, this was the mock-up for it. So I do these mock-ups, and they're usually pretty rough, but this one's held together with these clips. And this one, it had a little starry scene flies by, and then had a little constellation down there. But it ended up turning into this eventually. And a current piece right now, this is the pile for it. I usually have these piles all around. This is a current piece, and it's, oops, it lost something. But anyway, there's supposed to be a little cloud here that I had set on there. It's still this is a mock-up. And so it's pretty much the final mock-up. It'll have changes when I start making the first set, and I'll make 5 of them just to start. If I make more than that, I usually find things to change in the first set. So I try and limit it to the 5, but it has this woodblock print on the outside, and you open the door and there's a little moon, kind of hard to see in the light, but there's a little moon, or see it on the camera, moonlit, little moon face in the sky. And I said it's all kind of loose, so this is just a mock-up. And then down in this store is a little moonlit tree branch and a little starry sky. And so it's kind of I don't know, what is this? Is it a book? I don't know. But it's to me, it's just a little poem, I guess. And I've got a couple other ideas to do, it's a series of 3 with 3 different images in the top and 3 different little dioramas in the bottom. And again, this is a similar one to the first book I showed you. It's made with layers of board. These are all black board. The other one was a white and black board. And so I have these templates. This is what the different pieces of the board look like. I cut these templates so I can make them easily, and then they're just glued together. And I kind of like this. I've been doing, that's the second one I did in that form. And this one was the original idea for that one, which is real simple. It's just a little flip up book. and it's got like a little scene of some kind of console with like some viewfinder there, and then you lift it up and you can see inside what's inside the viewfinder. Maybe like a Zoom meeting, I guess. And so this is as simple as I get. But the relation with these two is to just make something with a door. You know, though the movement is just a door that opens up and reveals something. Some of my other pieces get kind of complex with different movements and things like that. But I like to do the simple things too. And then I like to have things that are, you know, almost like zine quality, I guess. I like originally started making little books. I wanted to make zines. And so it's always fun to make a piece that's simple enough where it could be, you know, sold like a zine basically. And just a few tools I pulled out. These scissors, Mitsuko got them at Hita Tool, and they're Teflon scissors. And they just have a nice feel. They cut great, and they feel nice in your hand. And so it's like, these are tools that make working just kind of an extra pleasure when you have like a nice tool. And this one, this and the stainless steel triangle were from a vendor at Codex that I got. This is a scoring tool, and I really like it. It's like nice and easy to use, and it scores like right at the edge of right at the edge. I have a ball scorer also, but a ball scorer kind of like scores a little bit off, you know, from the edge of the ball to the center of the ball. This thing will get right in there, and it's just very nice. And so that's the maker of it, just in case someone's interested. So I'll walk around now, try and walk slowly. This little pile, some things don't make it. This is the little sad pile of pieces that didn't make it. And this one especially, it's not dead yet. It's got potential, but it's got some problems. And so it's waiting for its time to be reworked and refigured out, maybe added to and changed a little bit. I'll show you in this cabinet. So when you're a printmaker, a letterpress printer, or paper worker, you end up with lots of scraps of paper. And if you're the kind of person who doesn't like throwing it away, you end up saving all kinds of little end cuts and things. And so I got lots of those, but I also like saving little scraps because I cut out little, we do a lot of cutting with little pieces of paper, and you end up with these interesting little bits, and they're just too interesting to throw away. Like these are a bunch of little tiny painted triangles, and they were cut off from something else. And these little circles, those are actually used later on. I used them as eyes on a dragonfly. So some of these things can get used, but some are just too nice. These are
I think we lost Brian's phone for a second there. We will try and get him back. In the meantime, if people have any questions, you can drop them into the chat. One question I see in the chat already. I wonder if Brian knows we're out here. There he is. Hey, Brian, we lost your phone there for a second. Can you hear me? Hang on, you're muted.
right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, is it back? Should I keep on going?
Sure.
Okay, well, that's the scraps. I guess the scraps kind of broke the system, but here's a paper cutter, a little bit of equipment I got here. Paper cutter, I have this etching press. It's difficult to see some of these things because I'm using it as a shelf, and anything with like a flat surface in here usually is used as a shelf. This is I have a nice big ink area. When I moved in here, it had this huge piece of glass left over sitting against the wall. and it made a great inking table.
Nice.
This might get super bright, but
Huh?
there's a little tree. This is actually, so like I make these little things and like I put them aside, and eventually they turn into something. So this little funny paper tree ended up getting into that little moonlit piece I showed you a minute ago. So those things get shown. Is there a way to like, my screen is only showing you, Chad, but I can see, and I guess it's okay. If you guys can see everything, that's okay. Here's a little corner with some more stuff. Like this is like something that was made, and eventually it'll hopefully turn into something, or maybe not hopefully, but maybe it will, or maybe it won't. Here's some like little rocks with little faces on them. This one's kind of angry. So, you know, whatever those are, that's what they're sitting there. And here's the printing press. I use this a lot in my work, although I'm usually making little like pieces of a piece, and then the letterpress printing is usually like about 10% of the piece, but sometimes I do full on, you know, letterpress pieces. And these I do like greeting cards, and these calendars are kind of the closest I get to like a letterpress broadside. And I've been doing, this was the first one in 2008 when I first got that press. And I basically learned to print on this press and learned how to print this press with this press. And through the years, you know, these are kind of show my like the things I was like learning, and each one was like a new challenge for me. This one had some larger areas, and this had some overprinting. And then I started doing linoleum blocks on these. This was a linoleum block. And this one is a new one. This was the last year. And this one's different. It's this is a collagraph print, and I really liked it. It's got like a nice texture. I don't know if it's coming through on the screen, but like the trees, you can see like a grain that's just from chipboard, and it has a nice texture. So this is a collagraph print, and it was a 2-pager, and I'll explain that collagraph print in a second here. It has this like spring and fall kind of double images. And so those are made with paper plates. And this is one of them here in progress. I'm kind of making another series, kind of like, this one's not going to be 2-pager, but it's going to be like a 4-panel little piece. And it's made with just cutting out the chipboard and gluing it down to a sheet. And then you coat it with shellac, and then it gives it like a surface that can be inked up and wiped off. And what's great is not only can you can, like I do the design on the computer, and then I laser print it, and then I glue the laser print down to a piece of cover stock, and then I glue these little pieces of chipboard directly to the laser print. So it's like a guide exactly where they go. And then right now it's taped to cardboard, so it keeps it flat when I glue when I paint it with the shellac. But I really like that. And it goes straight onto my boxcar base. I just I spray mount it and stick it to the boxcar base for printing. And I like it because it's easy. I like it has a nice texture, and it's cheap, you know, because this polymer is expensive, and all these I was always kind of scrimping to get save as much as I could on the space, because the polymer is too expensive. So I tried linoleum, and that was like better, but this is even easier. And so here's another this wall of things that they didn't have a place to go after I made them, and so rather than throw them away, I just stuck them up here, and sometimes they turn into something still. So that's that. And I'll show you one more, like some tools here. I'll just this one drawer I'll show, because it's kind of, to me, that's pretty useful. I do lots of circle cutting for different reasons. And so we have this Japanese paper drill, which a lot of people know about, but not everybody maybe, but it turns when you push in, and makes like a little drill cut, and has different size bits that I keep in this pill case here. So that makes nice little small holes. And I've got these drill bits that are made for a paper drill. Like I think the center for the book has a paper drill, which the little paper holes come out the top. But you can stick these in a regular drill press, but you just have to empty them out when they fill up. You have to take them out and poke all the paper out. These are from Harbor Freight, and I think they're made for, it's called a hollow punch set, but they work on paper. And I use those to cut holes in paper. And then for larger holes, I have this punch set. And these screw onto this tool, and you hit it with a hammer. And I use those for punching holes in board. And so all of those are super useful. And let's see, I want to hurry up because I want to show you something else too. There's the sink area. I had a bunch of things to say about that, but I'm rushing now. So, and then some more stuff on the walls. And so in here, I'm going to take you in and show you one more piece. And I think then we're kind of running close on time. These are some of the, just some of the other the things we've done. And you can see these online. I'm trying to get my website up, which is going to have all the text, so everything's fully readable. But let me show you. I'm going to show you the movement on this one. This is it's an insect specimen. I won't go into the story, but you open it up, and there's this paper insect, and you pull this, and it opens up. And the reason I'm showing this is because this is a current project we're working on. Well, not current. I mean, it's an older project, but we make them in groups of 10. And as they sell, we make more. And so this one's in production. So here's Mitsuko's set up, and she's making the box tops for these. And she's already made all the boxes are all completed here. And so here's these bugs. If you want to see how the bugs are made, they're a letterpress print. This is a letterpress print. And then I paint them. This one's painted with watercolor. The orange and golden is watercolor painted, and the shell is painted with oil sticks. And then those are cut out, and they're kind of like assembled into this bug. And this is the mechanism on this one. If you want to see how they work, is the stick goes through the center, and it pulls these tabs, and the strings pull the tab up and down. And the strings are there because, I mean, this is like complex setup is so that when you pull it, then the wings open. It'd be easier to make it well, anyway, that's how it works. So is there time to keep showing stuff, Chad? I can still keep talking and showing things.
We got a few questions, so why don't we head back to the laptop, and then we can go through the questions, and if we have time at the end, we can you can show whatever else you got ready.
Okay.
I'm gonna switch you back to the. All right, now we can see you again.
Okay.
Great, thank you for that tour. That was awesome. So I'll just run through these in order. Barbara asks, are all the moving components made out of paper, or what types of hardware do you incorporate? I think we just saw that kind of in that last piece, but if you want to.
There's some are paper, but I use whatever it takes. Some have wood, some have brass, little pieces of brass welded. There are a lot of paper, though. If it can be done with paper and it's strong enough, then I'll do it that way. and it's kind of nicer if they are. But if it's something that requires something else, I'll use something else like metal. I use like soldering little piece of metal or pieces of wood or something.
Cool. Terry is asking where the scissors came from. I think you said Hida tool. Is that correct?
Hida tool, yeah, I think Hida. They're Nevanon scissors. Maybe you can get them elsewhere. Probably they're from Japan. But Hida tool has like nice. I think they do woodworking tools, but they have nice cutting tools and nice wood block tools and any kind of like scissors and knives kind of things. They're in Berkeley.
Yeah, I highly recommend Hida tool. I also caution people against Hida tool because you will buy all the awesome things and then they're
Yeah.
not inaffordably priced. I will put it that way. They're wonderful. I love them.
Yeah, it's worth it because like when you have something that's nice to work with, it just makes the working a pleasure. And I just have a few tools like that just whenever you use them, you feel better doing it. And so it's worth the money.
For sure. On that, someone asks, can you share a source for the scoring tool?
You can watch the video when they post it. I don't know if they I got it at it's like that little business card I showed afterwards. Grosso, Grosso, Grosso tools. And they're I think they're from Argentina. But I looked before this and their website doesn't, you might be able to find them if you look it up, but it's hard to see if they have like what they're doing now. I couldn't find something online, but if you watch it back, there's a webpage on that little card. You can find them.
Detective work. Yeah, so we are recording these videos, so you can find them all on our website. And so if you need to find out the source of that tool, go back, watch the video, and pause it just the right moment. Chris wants to know what kind of glues and adhesives do you use for paper assemblages?
I use PVA glue, and when we're putting it together, we use PVA glue, and also a dry mount sometimes, like dry mount adhesive with iron. When I'm doing the mock-ups, I use a lot of spray mount just to go quicker, and just any kind of glue. But we use glue sticks and PVA glue mostly, and super glue for little things to want to make sure some little part is not going to move ever. We use super glue.
Nice, awesome. And just as a side note, our fellow staff member Cheryl Ball tells us that Sol Rebora's husband does some of those tools. So you can look up Sol, Solrebora, Sol Rebora, from South America. So thank you.
That must be them. Yeah, I think that is the same people.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you very much to Bryan for the amazing tour, and thank you to all of us for joining us today. Please feel free to join us online again next week when we will be taking a trip to Vallejo to visit Joel Benson at the new home of Dependable Letterpress. So have a great week, everyone, and thanks for coming. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.